Hey, hello everybody. This is Anton Bennink, founder of FBE. And as you probably know, we are working on the classic Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, written almost 100 years ago. And we are currently working on the second chapter, or the second principle, I have to say. And the second principle is faith. And in this chapter, Napoleon Hill writes about a story about the United States Steel Corporation and how that started to take shape. Because the United States Steel Corporation basically came out of the idea of one single person, Charles M. Schwab, who was basically a lieutenant or a CEO, as you might call it now, for Andrew Carnegie, the biggest steel magnate in the world or in the United States back then. And what happened was Mr. Schwab, Charlie Schwab, he had the idea of creating a corporation and putting all the important steel factories and steel mills and everything together and build one big organization out of it. So he organized a meeting with stockbrokers and financiers and all of these people, but without his so-called boss, Andrew Carnegie, because Andrew Carnegie was not pleased with the way that people on Wall Street did business. But behind closed doors, some of the richest men back then, they came together and eventually, through a process of having an idea, having faith that he could bring his idea into realization, and that faith gave him the confidence and the charisma and the chutzpah to basically convey and convince his idea upon the rest of the room, and the most important, J.P. Morgan. And this is the year 1900, and they were sitting, and eventually, after a long process, the most important decision maker, J.P. Morgan, said, hey, if you can get Andrew Carnegie to sell his organization, I will undertake the matter. And so it was. Eventually, Charles M. Schwab got Andrew Carnegie to sell his steel organization for $400 million. And out of building this corporation, it brought an extra $600 million into the market, which was a lot of money back then. And out of this idea, which basically just started as a simple idea in his head, made him super rich. Richness comes out of thought. Richness comes out of ideas. And it doesn't matter if it's material wealth or spiritual wealth or emotional wealth. It all starts in the mind. And the way that Charles Schwab made this happen was through the principles that Napoleon Hill teaches in his book Think and Grow Rich. Basically, it started with an idea. As I can't mention enough, it will always start with an idea. Facebook started with an idea. Google started with an idea. Tesla started with an idea. SpaceX started with an idea. Okay? And then when you have that idea, it is of essential power, it is most essential that you turn that idea into realization by having faith in your idea. A silent certainty and trust in the idea that you have, that you can make it happen. Okay? And then you have an idea, you have confidence, you have faith that you can make it happen, that you can turn the idea into its physical equivalent. And then you need to create the plans to turn and to work out the ideas. And then you need a buckload of persistence, because that United States Steel Corporation was not built overnight. That took several years to create, just like Rome has not been built in one day. And I don't know if that is a worldwide saying or if that's just a Dutch saying. But just like Rome is not built in one day, your idea will not be built in one day. My ideas won't be built in one day. And then it is for persistence to take it all and to pass the test of it, turning it into reality. That is the persistence test. If you can persist on your idea and you know that it is the right idea, it will come to pass. Okay? Now, I hope that this helped you. The next chapter is the chapter on autosuggestion, also called by psychologists self-suggestion. And this self-suggestion is basically one of the only known ways that you can actually develop faith. Because faith is a sort of spiritual state, like love. And self-suggestion is how you can develop that in yourself. So from tomorrow onwards, we're going to be working on self-suggestion, developing faith by suggesting the idea back to ourselves and turning that idea into a beautiful imagination, turning that imagination into plans and goals, and then using persistence and a couple of more principles to turn it into reality. I'm super excited and I hope I can bring you value. Please adopt these principles in your life because they can change your life from today on. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to live with passion.